Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey through the power of the internet. I bring to thee Vodakhan Temple Speaker, the most fantastic legendary money can buy, combined with the Mask of Torment. Not a very fantastic legendary, but it does some work. What is this deck? Honestly, can't tell you. But it's a lot of favourite cards of mine, jammed together in a pile. We're going to take it to ladder. We're going to find out what it's all about. The mana base looks fantastic. There's a bunch of things that say gain a life and draw a card. Two of my favourite things to do. One of them even lets your power become 2 power, which is excellent when you pair it with some of our friends of the show, Vodakhan Temple Speaker and Seek Power. Onto the ladder. Let's try this out. So, here we are on the plate with a technically 2 power hand. But given we've got a Vodakhan and a Marshal, I think we can redraw this, find something a little bit more castable. This is a little bit more like it. We can do a little bit of an impression of like an, oh okay, I'm probably playing some sort of echo deck. They're going ham here. So overlaps like secret pages. Voice of the Speaker's good. I'm just going to play it and then the next turn seek power and just never have any power words for the rest of the game. Could very well just be Clockroaches this, in which case, what are they going to do about Voice of the Seeker? Equivocate? That's pretty much the worst they can do. Oh dear. Shadow means she might be dead. But we've already got our value. Let's get a Justice Saucer. Probably can respond there, like try and kill our unit. Not too fussy, just going to chuck in for 1 point of damage. We might be actually quite well set up if this is like a crown matchup because we can just banish it. And Clockroaches are big and all. But if we banish the crown, they're just a lot less exciting. And I'm sort of sad that crown's getting progressively worse as time goes on. Through the sort of introduction of new skills like Reckless and Bond, which don't really do anything. But also the merchants that are coming up are just going to give you free access to, well, relic destruction. Okay, well, you doing a great job there, Voice of the Speaker, but this is a few too many power. So we can't get the Siraf down. It's not going to do too much. We'll try to get the Combrei healer down. And I sort of want to develop this Voice of the Speaker into just being unkillable, but I should probably really just put the Combrei healer as a 2/5. This means we can just eat this if our opponent attacks in. Opponent's playing Shadows, so could very well have stuff like Dark Return. They're just going to keep developing Clockroaches, which is mostly fine. We don't really have anything that super punishes our opponent for trying to do that. I don't believe we have Harsh in this deck, it's just Marshal Ironthorn. And we do really need to find something like a Marshal Ironthorn. So opponent is using Second Sight. So we're going to stack the deck with another Clockroach. So now on this turn they get to draw another one. This deck is getting an extra card though, which is Time Flies or something like that. Yeah, because like a real sort of choke point for this deck was often the power, just not having enough power to do the things that you wanted to do. Well, this isn't technically deck fitting because one of these is just generated for free, but we're just gonna hopefully just bosh this 5/5, keep our opponent at bay a little bit, and then we'll be just Scorpion Wasping this turn, just with the intention of next turn just gonna start trying to activate the Siraf every turn. I think it's very possible that our opponent's deck could just go over us. Especially now they've managed to get back the current possibilities, and they do have the Face Aegis as well. Dark Return here to get back a Clockroach is some pretty great value actually. We do need to find something like a Marshal pretty much as soon as possible. Devoted Theurge is not quite what we wanted. But just hopefully our opponent doesn't find a way of killing this. We're just able to make some huge things. Well, Reality Warden just on time, as Reality Warden tends to be, usually the turn after your opponents play the Dark Return. But now, everything's Voidbound. Yeah. A 14/14 alongside a 1/1 Death Touch should be able to do a little bit of work here though. Okay, well at least we don't have a power on top of the deck, which is pretty nice. I'm probably going to start trucking in with a 14/14. If a opponent wants to start chucking stuff. Okay, so they've chucked a Scorpion Wasp in front of it, which is sort of fine, but that's getting a card out of our opponent's hand basically for free. I am just going to keep playing our power. We don't have anything like strategizing the deck. Oh dear, oh dear. A Deadly Harbinger is probably enough to seal the deal, especially now our opponent can actually, if this dies, just get it back. Yeah, Mask of Torment is not quite doing it for us here. So I think we just took a little bit too long to get set up, flooded a little bit, didn't find anything, any of our payoffs like a Mystic Ascendant or a Desert Marshal to be able to clear the board and get it for 1 million. So I think I'm just going to scoop this one up because we can like eat this, just take 1 million. And if we ever get to deal with the Black Sky Harbinger, because our opponent is playing a deck that does have Dark Return, they'll be able to get this back and just blow our board up. So we'll move on to the next game. But good games to the opponent. Excellent show from Chalice there. Well, actually excellent show from Crown, not Chalice. Well, the double damage Yeti Pult would have done the job anyway. Okay, here we're on the draw, and we're at slow draw, but hopefully we can make the most of this extra power. And the start looks pretty much fine because we have like a payoff, something to keep us alive. Voice of the Speaker with Find a Way isn't exactly the combo we were looking for, because he just fills your hand with millions of depleted powers. But on the third turn, we'll be able to go pretty ham here. If I put a like Fire Source here, I'd probably be seeking power there just to get a Time Source to be able to Temple Scribe and block whatever up to. Looks like we're against TJP again. And I think we actually lost that last game when we blocked this dude here. So maybe that was part of our mistake. I think the plan is just going to seek power first, grab our power, and then use the additional power to be able to find the way, get a bunch of depleted powers, which is not the best. Depleted powers are certainly not very impressive when you're getting double of them with Marshal Ironthorn. Well, if we get a... because this is difficult here because we do need like a bunch of justice and a bunch of time. But actually the Trailmaker can fix a bunch of that. So I need to think. So I'm going to play this obviously, this is going to get us up to 3. If we play this, this gets us up to 4. The next turn will be at 5. So I'll do it next turn. So got that, get the time sigils now. Could very well just be like dead in this game because our opponent's just able to establish like a couple of early awakened students, so it's going to make them like 5/5s and killers. But most parts, I'm happy just to 6/6 here. Probably at the point soon where we just will chump with the Voice of the Speaker because she's done plenty enough work. And here we go. Just grab a Time Source here. Play the Echo out. Draw a card. Got plenty of power here. Just gonna play the Marshal out next turn. Yeah, it's got millions of power, so if this dies, it's not the end of the world, although it is really good with the Vodakhan Temple Speaker. And if we can actually get high enough, we can play a Find the Way with the Vodakhan in play. I think it's just like Chump City over here, though, for now. Just save us 8 points of damage. Well, I was not blocking that anyway, so this is fine. Would be taking 11. Let's just make it not 11. Yeah, let's take 3 just to buy us some times here. Yeah, let's just slam the depleted power for the best ones to get down. Then next turn we've got to make 2 devoted Theurges, which is going to be quite good. So they do get to vanquish our dude here, which is pretty reasonable, but we're already up to 7, which is quite good actually. There's a finest hour here, lethal, so we've got 16, yep, so rats. It's not our day on the ladder today. TJP confirmed terrible matchup. Doing a couple of games though, the games are kind of quick. Okay, and on the draw here, it's one of those hands where you probably want to like Crest to find power. It's got a bunch of slays, which are fine. I think maybe this deck actually just needs like Harsh Rule, and then you go off after the Harsh Rule. This sounds great. We're going to have just no power issues for the rest of the game. Got like a big board filler with the Great Parliament. Sort of hoping that we're not playing against some nonsense like TJP here. Let's grab the Shadow Sigil. We've got 1. Then the Find the Ways are probably going to find some Justice sources. Actually, let's just play the Temple Scribe. It's going to force some action off our opponent, even if it is just like a Vara's favour. Then next turn, slam the Combrei banner. So if our opponent's like Mono Justice here, then I will trade. I'll have your Finest Hour. Yeah, Finest Hour's fine because it's this Temple Scribe just like effectively gained us 6 lives, which is pretty fine. I think now just slap the Combrei banner down because it's depleted anyway. Grab Justice Sigil, just set ourselves up. The next couple of turns is just going to be developing these Combrei healers. Combrei healers are great against this, whatever this 2-1 nonsense is. Probably could be playing like a mono Justice with the Lieutenant Relia, which is something I've tried. When I was trying it though, I was a little bit more on the aggressive side. So just Combrei healer here. Keeps us alive for a while. Play the depleted powers though, and next turn we'll be on 5, so we can Combrei healer plus find the way. And then after that we can get this Marshal Ironthorn going. Our opponent is making a 5-4 here, which is reasonable. I will just block the 2 here. Our opponent gets to draw a Justice Sigil, sort of fine. I've already got 4, and they've shown their deck to be quite small. They've got 2 cards in hand, so if it does let them play the 2 cards in hand, then that's also sort of fine. I think at this juncture though, it will be a case of just Combrei healer this to turn it into a big girl. 2-8 blocks a 5-4 quite nicely, and get the Shadow Sigil down. Then I suppose we just get a Justice here. But yeah, we get to go pretty big pretty quickly here. Wow, 9-8, that's huge. Well, we at least made our opponent's attack pretty rubbish here because we would have got to threaten the double block. But I think what we're just doing here is we're just going ham, just going to ramp up. Marshal's pretty much done his job. He's got us to 7, which means that if Marshal dies, this still gets us to 8 and pulls us 2 owls off the Great Parliament. And this here, what was this telling me? Like, we can take 9, that's fine. I've just got a Finest Owl, then just get to kill, like, they get to decide what they want to happen here. But we'll just take 9. Like, this isn't an issue, they get to trade Finest Owl plus their unit for our Marshal. They still have the problem in play of this 9-8 because this is pretty huge. But we have sort of, okay, we'll just might as do this then. Try and go off. So just Time Sigil here. Opponent didn't have a fast effect. It's just going to go straight into play. Oh, I just drew a card, which is sort of fine. Got a 9-9, which is reasonably bad actually against Justice because they do have a load of stuff like Vanquish as well as Sans effects. But the 2-8's done a job. Just going to take one for the team there. Yeah, so Valkyrie Enforcer kills our guy. But now I get to try and get ahead. So I can make a 4-7 owl here, which is pretty good actually. Then I'm just going to try and build this up, just chump for a turn and then just try and build up with the Devoted Theurge. Get to a point where we can take a hit from this again, because in straight Justice there shouldn't be anything that can just like one-shot us with this. So I've probably got something here, maybe it's like some sort of augmented form nonsense, in which case we'll block the 9-8. But just force them to put a bunch of power into this. Maybe this is actually just like a harsh rule, which I'm fine with because it kills their thing. Well, this is even better. I'm not going to play anything back. There's not too much they can do about the Scorpion Wasp in those colours. Just slap Scorpion Wasp. Our opponent have their 8th power. Like, if this is them setting up Sword of the Sky King, then that's sort of fine as well because we've got a really good board here. They get to kill one thing and then we get to attack him with the other. Like, Harshal's fine. I know we're playing against Harshal deck and we're able to sort of go off these Devoted Theurges, just turn them into like one-man armies. A mill is real good. We're doing this fine like a slave for this. So I'm just going to try off with the Temple Scribe, get us a little bit of something going on. Mask of Torment is not quite the answer, but we will be able to get up to the Tormentor. Tormentor's not great against the 6-10. But if our opponent's attacking with the 6-10 means we can perhaps get through. Okay, so this is good. Our opponent could have like a Protector, which would be pretty gross for them. We're just going to attack for 11 here. This is sort of like, I've seen the deck sort of swing around a little bit. No reason to add more to the board. I'm just going to keep using these to keep adding power. And Harshal's fine, we'll just start trading 1 for 1. I'm not sure about Harshal in our opponent's deck, but it's probably actually quite a fair inclusion because you can fall a little bit behind, especially in just like a monocolored deck. I'm actually looking forward to the new Harshal that we've got, and this Falcon Force is great. I'd much prefer it be here than on our Ascendant, and now I can actually attack for our 5/5. Opponents use 2 Harshals, so again, I'm happy just to play and ultimate the Siraf, because activated abilities are great, just let you use your power. I guess stuff like Harshal, opponent does get to kill 3 of our units, but it's only actually 2 cards. Yeah, so opponent gives up there, they really need to find the Harshal then. And then, even then, we're still able to like, sort of dig our way back in it because we had the Mystic. Well, Snoop the dog. On the play here, and I'm actually not being sure about how I felt about these Trailmakers for the most part in this deck. But I've liked a lot of the other pieces. I think that with Trailmaker and like Knight-Chancellor, that's probably why the deck's not got Harshal in it, but I do tend to like having those board resets and these things that are able to just rebuild so quickly after it. It's probably just like a Combrei banner, and then just sort of like develop our power to seek powers. Because like a fire deck, it's been an excellent hand. Oh, well, fetch up the Shadow Sigil. Give him the Spooks, no more power in hand, and then I think I'll actually wait on the seek power. Because if we do like a Voice of the Speaker, whilst we've got the Ascendant in hand, I actually do want to have just like more power. More power is great. It's good against maybe Haru. And I'm hoping it's not like Gnostic Power because that deck's probably going to go slightly above us as well because we don't have like a harsh rule to be able to reset millions of partners. Okay, so just like Haru beat down our TJP with a bit of rubbish draw, sort of fine by me. Not sure if this one's worth slaying. So I want to though. Yeah. We'll just devoted Theurge, just answer their 3/4 with our 4/4 that gains us some life. And then next turn, now we've got some actual pressure in play, we can slay whatever the follow-up is. Unless it's like a Shadowwing Rider. Shadowwing Rider could be rough for us to deal with as well, actually. But Unseen Commando's great. Yeah, we'll just slay this and then just attack for 5. Okay, so Banish is going to be good later on. I'm sort of forcing it to seek power here because I don't want to make a speculative Temple Scribe and then just not have the power to be able to remove that thing. So just a Sigil, time doesn't really matter. But we'll banish this. It's like an argument for having like something fast up. But like, what's our point doing at 1 power anyway? Now we've got an idea that opponent's got Finest Hour because of the pause there. But if this is actually like a straight hero deck, I would rather have the Slay because then if I play something like Animilli, then we're just able to answer it. Let's pop the Aegis. Okay, double Slay is great. We draw a power, just going to slam this dude and just draw a card. And in this spot where our opponent can't hold up Firestyle, then it's a good time to attack. We're just getting for 1 point of damage they get to block the 4/4, but if we don't draw power here, just turn it into a 5/5. Yeah, that's fine. If our opponent doesn't hit a power here, they're not able to play that. So this is another way that these power sinks are great. Because our opponent's turned off our ability to play spells, but we've still just like slammed this. And perhaps the correct play was actually just to play the Marshal Ironthorn here, because that sets us up for like a double draw off the Mystic Ascendant. I think if our opponent just like fills up the board, I might just slay 2 things anyway. Well, now this is better. So the stuff on the ground doesn't matter. This needs like it needs something to actually make it do anything. So is this fast out or have they found a protect? I don't want to get gobbled up here by a Finest Hour when I attack because that turns into a 6/7. So now I've got to chunk in. If this is the protect now, then our opponent's got so much patience. But it is just the Finest Hour. Is it 2 though? Because okay, so it is 2. So basically we've got our opponent down to 2 cards in hand. And they had to use 2 Finest Hours defensively. So we're just in a really great spot here. If we draw a power, then definitely just slamming the Mystic Ascendant, drawing the card off it. And this will hopefully bring us closer to another power. Well, Find the Way is sort of the same thing. Yeah, but I put us in rough shape there because next time we get to, because we're at 7 power, we get to Find the Way with the Marshal. Usually Find the Way before you play the Marshal so your opponent doesn't know he's getting millions of values. Play it all out, opponent has no opportunity to respond. We're just going to draw 2 and have a 10-10 in play. And then the game's pretty much wrapped up from there. But I'm glad to have actually taken one from TJP. Or rather, Haru. Okay, so here we're in the play. This hand's atrocious. We really need more power than just 2. We need to be like the 3-4 mark with payoffs in hand. This is sort of great. We get to make decisions before we play the Seek power as well. So just slam the Seat of Progress, and then we get to make Temple Scribe. Again, if against like a 5-base deck, then we're just in a great spot because we've got like Temple Scribe into Siraf, and a lot of times it's going to do a lot of work. Get the Voice of Speaker is just a one-off, so perhaps holding on to the Seek powers all the time isn't the best idea. Okay, so Eager Owlet, we're playing against some burbs right here. I think I'm sort of willing to just slam the Siraf. And this does 2 things. This means that we can sniff out a fast spell by using Seek Power. So Seek Power is really powerful in a lot of ways. Not only does it fix your power, but it's able to actually sniff out fast spell. I've just not got one. So what we're going to do here is attack here. Both just be super fishy and like suspicious to our opponent. Obviously they're just going to make the like block on here if they want to. They're just not having it. Okay, so what I was trying to do there is, obviously we knew our opponent didn't have a Finest Hour, but I was trying to get him to like block a thing and then kill the other one just to be super tricky, because we were going to kill one of the things anyway. But now I'm actually tempted to not, because we're only taking 6. Really happy just to have a 3-7. Like, 3-7 Siraf is delicious. Just attacks into anything. Stays alive for quite a while. And there we go. Now we've got a better target to banish. Opponent's got like some Warcries, which in a flying deck is going to be a bit of a problem. I'm not sure what's going on with all these like flying tribal decks at the minute. I suppose it's nice to just have that ability to dictate the combat, because you get to decide whether you block or not, but your opponent doesn't. You just take that option away from your opponent, which is pretty powerful stuff. Just need to sort of hope that our opponent fades whatever it is that they're trying to draw into here. And I'm just going to attack in here. Like, if they want to eat up our 1-1, that's fine. They take 5. They're going to 10 at that point. We've got the Void Theurge to sort of swing any race, really. This card's super nice. It's sort of a shame that sometimes it's so good, because it makes it a lot more difficult for cards like this to actually see play. And now the tides have turned quite a lot, we actually need to find a Slay just to get this off the table. So I want to Slay this straight away. We've got no way to sniff for a fast effect, so if we get blown up by a Protector, then we're pretty much dead, but okay, so opponent didn't have a Protector, which is pretty gross, so they just died on the spot, which is pretty sad. But I was really sort of agonising there to think about, if I go for this and I fail, then the game's sort of over, because there's no way I'm ever beating that Unseen Commando. But yeah, let's go to another game. Okay, and here we are on the draw against Nest Megatron for the last game, and I really want to keep the 2 virtual power Voice of the Speaker hand with Find the Way, but I can't. That's just ridiculous. Like, I couldn't ever keep that. I really want to. Like, that's on the line of where I like my greed to be. This sounds probably more realistic. So we could be Dream Crushing here, which is a horrible thing to do. But we're on the draw against Praxis, so we're probably pretty dead here. Praxis deck's sick. I'm hoping them not having a turn 1 or 2, turn 2 play means that they're mid-range, which means that we've got more time to do stuff, and hopefully these double slays are just able to keep us around for a while. We'll eventually be able to go over them because we have stuff like Mystic Ascendant, and it is going to be really difficult for them to deal with some of our bigger threats. But we do actually need to find sort of a power generator here, as well as we've already got the payoffs, but we need something that generates power, like a Marshal Ironthorn. And if Dawnwalker is our opponent's first play, then I'm sort of happy actually just to take the turn off here. So this is gross. If our opponent gets a killer effect, they get to kill our Siraf here. But the plan is to next turn just make the Combrei healer and just make the Siraf into a 3-7, and that means that the Dawnwalker just doesn't do anything for the rest of the game. Now this fails if So obviously our opponent is going to get this back, because they do have the 4th time source here, and that's a bit fishy. So just using the Temple Scribe there just to gain us a virtual life, which is sort of fine. So just Combrei healer here. We don't have the Temple Speaker or the actual Vodakhan, so I'm just going to grab this now, because this is going to be able to let us play them Ascendant and draw next turn. And we'll grab the Time Sigil because we don't have Vodakhan in the deck. I'm not playing the Time Sigil out, however, because we're already at 6 power. And our opponent shouldn't be playing main deck Bar, but they could. In which case that would sort of stop us from playing the Mystic Ascendant, but it's also fine because I'm going to spend the turn doing like Slay or whatever. Okay, so I mean the attack there is sort of free, I guess. Yeah, because now they get to represent like a torch, and I don't mind this gobbling up the torch because this will also mean it's an extra turn cycle before that actually comes back, because we won't be able to buy back straight away. So it was definitely a torch, sniffed it out, but now we get to Mystic Ascendant, draw a card here. Guess it's up to Trailmaker. Trailmaker's not great here. But it's going to be quite difficult for our opponent to kill us now they don't have a torch, because it's going to be like Purify, of course, just removes the text, but we still have a 6/6, and we're still going to be able to like pressure our opponent from that point. Opponent is still getting the Dawnwalker back here, but we're just going to double slay both the things. Like once our opponent here is at 6 power, it doesn't really matter that these are making things cheaper, because they're not currently drawing any cards. It's just going to be slay both your things, attack you for 8. Like, don't really care about the little Trailmaker there. Just going to draw a power depleted, because then if we draw like a Marshal Ironthorn or something like another Mystic Ascendant, we still get to do a little bit of something. And sure, it's just like a not a 0 cost Sandstorm time. Okay, so now we have to start doing stuff again. Slam this. Trailmaker for additional power to get primal to skip the old spooks. Let's grab more power. Now we can attack, but we do get to sort of make a good job of like blanking this. And the 0 cost seek power is just me at that. Dragon did whiff a little bit. It's got the Scorpion Wasp here, which is pretty great. I'm just going to play one of the Time Sigils. That's because I still want to actually play power, even though I can't make the most use of it right now. And this is great because we get to power up the Devoted Theurge plus hold up Scorpion Wasp. But we still have like a way to draw a power if we do have the Vodakhan in play. So it sounds looking pretty good now. Looks like our opponent has started to flood now, and not doing much in the way of anything, but let's just turn this 6/6 into a 6/9, which is a very nice stat line to have, as well as just keeping this ability up. But now we are keeping these 2 in hand because we're going to be able to get to the Torment pretty much naturally. And there we go. So I think this is the last low cost thing that our opponent's got, but as I said before, they're at 9 power. Like, it doesn't really matter if anything's low cost at this point. Okay, well, now we get to do a bit of magic. So at 16, so we get 4 owls, which is like a reasonable amount, really. Not quite ready to start trucking in with the Devoted Theurge yet. Because Praxis Displacer is good here because it removes our 8/8 for the turn. But I don't think our opponent can actually kill us this turn, so we get to slam this down, and this is going to kill their Sandstorm type, which makes our Great Parliament next turn really good. And then we get to block this with 2 things, and like we'll take 6. It's fine. So opponent got pretty badly destroyed there. Just hate these gatekeeping matches where that sort of stuff happens. So let's play Marshal down. Slam the depleted power, gets up to 18. And I believe we get another owl if we gain some more lives. So it should be 20, so this will bring us 5 owls. Let's go to Ace Base with these little dudes here. And yeah, that's sort of enough. So I can see that this deck actually does get to go off and stabilise quite nicely. Okay, so the deck was sick. It took me a game to really get into it and sort of see what I was supposed to be doing. And I think this deck's actually quite good. The Shadow Splash is quite good because it is just for more than just the Mask of Torment, which is basically a free roll and just giving you another thing to ramp into, because not only is this ramp, but this is a built-in ramp payoff. Sort of disappointed that the pay 20 is an ultimate and it's not like a pay 20 do thing, because that'd be perhaps a little bit broken in some of these super big power decks like the ones with Tele. But I mean, if you've let your opponent get to a point where they can activate this multiple times a turn, then that's sort of your fault. You know, so if your opponent does make 4 Tormentors a turn or a Torment every single turn, then maybe should have killed them. But as it is, it's an ultimate, it's just not going to get buffed again because it's been buffed like 3 times now. But anyway, enough about that. I felt like this deck did need Harsh Will or some way to reset the board. Maybe if it's just like Leave a Witness, because that is a really powerful and expensive spell you can ramp into. And just like Leave a Witness when you've got like a massive Mystic Ascendant in play, it's just going to be absurd because it's wipe the board. And like next turn, I'm going to kill you unless you put like a million things in front of me. But as it stands, ramping up and just having great Parliament is great. You know, I do like the Banish and the Slay as just spot removal, because it brings us back to like the Dark Combrei that we did have like a couple of months ago, maybe at the end of set 2, where we're just sort of, I think we were splashing either Slay or Banish at that time, just as a bit of interaction, and when Wallet Combrei was still a great thing to play. But overall, this deck's sweet. Not quite sure where I got it from, but I'll be sure to find like the list on Eternal Warcry, and it'll be down in the details of the video. But overall, you know, I've got past the bit where I was burnt out from being like, oh, I've got, because like I was happy to tick on, and then there was spoilers, and then there was no spoilers, and I was like, what's happening, you know? But you know, now I've got past that, and I'm just like, you know, these new cards are coming sweet, but there's still some unexplored, or rather, cards that we've not fully played with yet. Like Vodakhan Temple Speaker is like something I played with in set 1 and picked up again recently for like 5 minutes and then just never looked at again. But it's sweet to be able to play with this, and it's a little bit sad that TJP is running around and just able to silence it and equivocate it. But in the games we're able to go off with this, it's just absolutely absurd. Just like draw your deck and then kill your opponent because you get up to like 1,000,000 T power, and then you just ultimate Marshal Ironthorn and kill them, or you just like make 20 million like owls, and it's just like the board's full, like you're never doing anything ever again. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been coming at you live and loud through the power of the internet. See you around.